Hi, welcome to Family Storytime. My name is Karen, and today we've got a story that is based on one Clara Pearson wrote way over 100 years ago about a bat and his adventures. Misadventures, I think might be a better word. But let's start with our hello song. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. I'm glad to see you here. Come, said Mama Bat, flying toward her home in the barn. It's bedtime. The sun is coming up in the east, and pretty soon it's going to be daylight. The young bats all flew along after her, and Papa Bat came behind them. They had been flying through the starlit forest all night, chasing small insects that come out after the sun goes down. They could fly around tangled tree branches without ever touching one. Mama Bat would have been embarrassed if any child of hers flew into anything in the dark. There might be some excuse for such a mistake in daytime, for bats' eyes do not see well. But in the nighttime, never! She would have scolded them, and they would have deserved it, for bats have excellent radar-like hearing that lets them know where things are before they ever touch them. And there are few animals in the forest who can do that. Now, there aren't many people who can tell by the feeling of the air when something is near, but the bats were quite proud of their special skill. Sometimes they were a little too proud. When their friend, the screech owl, once flew into a tree, knocked himself out, and fell to the ground, they laughed long and hard. Silly screech owl, didn't even know where he was going. But now the night was over, and their mother called them to go home. Little Bat stayed back and had a very mad look on his face. Twice his father had to tell him, "Fly faster, fly faster." He was thinking, I'd like to see the forest in daytime. He'd never seen the sun rise, and he wanted to do that. Little Bat had never seen any of the day birds or the animals that come awake in the morning. And he thought it was very mean of his parents to make poor young bats go off to bed the minute the stars began to fade. He didn't believe what his mother and father said, that he wouldn't have a good time if he did stay up all day. Little Bat coaxed. "Please," he teased. "Can I?" And he begged, "I want to!" So far it had never made any difference. Every morning he had to fold his wings and go to sleep in a dark corner of the beams of the barn, hanging head down close to the rest of the family. Their father said that there was never a better place to sleep than in this same crack. And it certainly was easy to catch on with the hooks at the ends of their legs when they hung themselves upside down for the day. But now he just wouldn't go to bed. So, there. "It's your turn next," said Mama Bat to him when she got the rest of the children had hung themselves up. "I'm not going to bed," Little Bat answered. "Not going to bed," said his father. "Are you crazy?" "No, I am not, and I am not going to bed." "I don't believe this child is feeling well," said Mama Bat. "He's never acted like this before. Perhaps he is overeaten." And she looked very worried. "I'm not sick, and I haven't overeaten," said Little Bat. "I want to have some fun once in a while. I've never seen the sun in my whole life, and there are a whole lot of birds and animals that are in the forest that I've only ever heard about. I'm going to stay up." And he stamped his foot. Papa Bat, Mama Bat looked at each other without speaking. "I won't go to bed," said Little Bat. "Fine then," said his father. I shall not try and make you go to bed. Fly away at once and let the rest of us go to sleep. We are tired." After he had gone, Mama Bat said, "I suppose we had to let him go and try. Oh, I hope he doesn't find things too scary." Little Bat flew away feeling very brave. He had told them, he knew he could take care of himself, even in the daylight. He felt so sorry for his brothers and sisters who had to go to sleep in the barn. He decided he would tell them all about his adventures he had when he saw them that night. The eastern sky grew brighter and brighter, and it hurt his eyes to look at it. And he blinked, and he tried to look away. Then the songbirds awoke and began to sing. It was very interesting, but he thought they sang a little too loud. The forest at night was so quiet. Little Bat didn't see why the birds had to be shouting, even if the sun was coming up. The night birds never made that much noise. They would look at the moon and fly around the moon, but they could do it so much more quietly. What made the sun so much more special than the moon, he wondered. Somebody went running over the grass, kicking up his heels as he ran. That must be a rabbit, thought Little Bat. I've heard about them. Screech Owl told me that rabbits run like that. I wish I could actually see them. I don't know what's the matter with my eyes. It's scary out here in all this daylight. It's so bright. Just then, a sunbeam came slanting through the trees and fell on Little Bat's furry coat as he clung to a branch. Ow! He yelled. That sun is making me too hot. I don't like it. Moonbeams don't feel like that. I need shade. And he started to fly. Just what was the matter, he never knew. Maybe it was because he couldn't see too well. Maybe it's because he really was getting tired. Or maybe it was because of the strangeness of it all. But it was very scary. But in any case, Little Bat went down, 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 crash, right onto the ground. Crow had seen Little Bat fall, and he called out loudly, come here, everybody. The rabbits who had been eating nearby came bouncing in great leaps in their hurry to see what was the matter. The goldfinches, the robins, the orioles, the woodpeckers, they all came flying up to see what was going on. Even a blue jay sat on a branch above Little Bat and shrieked, Jay, 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 adding to the excitement. And last of all, the groundhog appeared, coming slowly and with dignity, as an animal who has reached a certain maturity will do. What is the cause of all this commotion? He asked. He could have said, what is the matter? And then everybody would have understood him at once, but that was definitely not groundhog style. He thought he had to use big words just to show that he could, even if others didn't understand him. But he would go back and explain what he meant. We have found a very weird bird, sir, said the littlest rabbit, without waiting to find out what a commotion was. Just look at him on the ground there, rolling around. That? That is no bird, said Woodpecker. Look at those ears. Look at that nose. He doesn't even have a beak. Well, he flies, said littlest rabbit, because I saw him. So he must be a bird. Humph, said Chipmunk. So does my cousin, the flying squirrel, but she is no more a bird than I am. The Oriole said, this fellow hasn't a feather to be found. No self-respecting bird would ever be featherless. I don't say that my son is right, said Papa Rabbit, but this creature does have wings. And he poked at Little Bat. It hurt, and it made Little Bat flutter wildly for a moment. Look at him wiggle around, said Robin. Yes, but what kind of wings are those? Asked Goldfinch. A pair of skinny things that attach to his legs. Humph! Well, he must be a very stupid fellow, said the groundhog. He doesn't talk. He doesn't walk. He doesn't eat. He doesn't even fly very well. For my part, I am not interested in animals of this kind. And he walked away with his nose in the air. Little Bat lay very still on the ground, listening to all this. He was very scared. He didn't know why the other animals were all making fun of him. He didn't know what he'd done wrong. Nothing scary like this had ever happened to him in the nighttime. He was afraid of these daytime animals. He was afraid what they might do to him. Now, the other forest creatures would have liked to stare at Little Bat longer, but after Groundhog had gone off, they all thought they should go too. So, one after another, they crept, flew, and bounded away. And finally, Little Bat was all alone. He fluttered around on the ground until he could reach a tree, and then he flew up into a branch. And then he hung himself upside down and wanted to wait until nighttime. Little Bat cried. He was scared. I wonder how long a day is, he said. I'm too hot. I can't see anything. It's too bright. I'm sleepy. And if any more of the forest animals come and talk about me, I don't know what I'll do. They think I'm ugly because my wings grow to my legs. I only wish I could see what they look like. I don't think they are. I bet they're just as ugly. And then, because he was very tired and very angry and very scared, Little Bat began to blame everyone else for all his trouble. If my father and mother really loved me, they would have never let me stay up all night. They don't really like me. They just say they love me. I bet they really don't. If other animals came out at night, they would see how useless they are. Night animals are so much better than day animals. Little Bat was tired and scared and very hungry. And he ended up falling asleep upside down on the tree branch. When he finally woke up, the sky was orange and red in the west. The moon was rising in the east, and it was getting very dark. At last, the world did not look scary. The other animals had gone home to their nests and their burrows, and Little Bat flew home to the beam high in the barn. He had never been so happy to see his mother and father. He had never been so happy to see all of his brothers and sisters. But he didn't want to tell them about his day. He didn't want them to know how scared he had been. He didn't want them to know how blind the sunshine had made him. He didn't want them to know how tired he had gotten. And he definitely didn't want them to know how much fun those daylight animals had made of him. He didn't like that at all. But there are things that moms and dads have a way of figuring out, even if you never tell them. Mama Bat wrapped Little Bat up in her wings and gave him a giant bat hug. And then they all flew out into the welcoming night to find bugs to eat. And that is based on Clara Pearson's story of Little Bat. Join me next week for story time. Bye.